Welcome to Stirring Strength, Perspectives on Mental Health and Addiction. I'm your host, Dean Anderson. And on today's show, we have Bryan Baker. Bryan,
Hi.
Hey Bryan.
Thanks for having me.
Bryan is from Railway City Improv.
Yes.
And some people might be like, why the heck would we have an improv guy on a show about perspectives on mental health and addiction? And I would like for you to just jump right in and tell me why I have you here.
Well, thanks for having me, Dean. This is a wonderful opportunity to spread the gospel of comedy improv. And I know that you're an improv guy. You've had some experience with improv in the past. And I know you know a lot of this, but for the audience, improv is an amazing tool to fight anxiety, to power your career, to help you succeed in the world. And it's really underrepresented. It's unknown. It's underutilized. And so my mission through Railway City Improv is to try and spread the gospel and try to let people understand that this is a tool out there that can help you if you spend too much time online, you even socialize too much time online. You have people that you love that maybe are spending too much time online and it's showing. Improv is a belly to belly, gets you out there. It's a comfortable place to fail. It's a comfortable place to make friends. It's really such a powerful tool. And I could go on and on and on about it, but I'll let you jump into the next question. I'm sure there's a couple arise for your audience.
Well, we're just making up stuff as we go. So, Bryan, I'd like to take a step back. So, you're right. I have experience in the improv world. I've been doing it for a long time, so I have a deeper understanding of it.
You're a fantastic instructor. I mean, we've had you at Railway City to instruct some classes now.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. In the time that I've been doing it, when I talk to people about what it is, back to basics is people don't even know what it is. So the question is, what is improv, right? It's not like it used to be where we had, television shows like Whose Line Is It Anyways, where people are like, oh, okay, I know what it is. What is improv comedy?
Okay, so it's based off the principle of yes and if you've been in improv at all, you will have heard this many times. And at its essence, it's very simple. If you there's a lot of different games and tools and things you'll go through in an improv class, but yes and really hones in on it. And if you think about your regular life, regular work life, it's always yes but, right? It's always yes but or no or whatever. In improv, you're trained to say yes and. So it's always building off of something. And that's why it's actually really powerful in a corporate and business environment too, because it helps you learn how to innovate, how to talk on your feet, how to grow an idea as opposed to always shutting it down. So in an improv environment, it's a safe environment to fail. And if you think about that, that's so awesome, right? Because in high school, I always thought of it as ego points, right? I mean, you make a bad joke and someone out there is going to, poop on your parade and make you feel like an ass and then make themselves look good in front of everybody, right? So we kind of get trained in that sort of environment. It's some work places where I've been to where it's kind of been like that. It's just ego driven. And in an improv class, it's the reverse, right? The incentive is to make the bad joke. And if you make a bad joke, everybody is, they'll laugh anyways and go, good try. And let's keep building. Let's keep building. Yes, and yes, and yes, and. And that's what makes it so magical, right? That's part of what makes it so magical. You're forced also to live in the moment. And if you think about anxiety, this is why I talk about it great for people who suffer from anxiety, social anxiety especially. Anxiety is kind of like that monkey on your back. Whereas, if you're worried about what you said to someone yesterday and you're thinking, oh man, if I'd only said this, right? You think of what you should have said like 10 minutes later. It sucks. And then you ruminate about it. Or if you're thinking about the future, it's like, oh man, I'm going on Rogers TV on Dean's show tomorrow. I mean, what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up. So that's what anxiety is. It's about worrying about the future. It's about worrying about the past. Improv pushes you into the moment and you're forced to stay in the moment. And that's why it's great for building your listening skills. It's great for innovation because you have to stay in the moment because you have to react to what's going to happen next. It just so happens that it's stupid fun too, right? I mean, that's why I compare it, it really is so underutilized and so misunderstood because, if you hear an interview with, say, any famous person you've ever met, an actor or a comedian, they all got their start in improv. And we kind of think of it as a show business thing, but it's got so much utility, especially in the modern world where so many people are online with social media now. AI. Yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's just this is an art form that needs to expand because it can help so many people. There's just so many benefits.
Yeah. I hear all those great things. I hear communication, I hear trust building, I hear bonding and fun and all that great stuff. At its heart of it for the people at home, improv is really just making up things on the spot based on some small suggestions from something else. So it's a form of theater, but there's no scripts, and people just build it right there on the spot. Yeah. So Bryan was discussing yes-anding, and yes-anding is one of the most powerful tools to be able to build a script on the spot.
Yeah.
Right? But that is life, right? We're always just making it up as we go, like on the spot.
Yes, exactly. And if I can jump in there,
yeah.
I mean, one of the things that intuitively the audience can kind of recognize, right? So the training was developed in order to get people comfortable to go up on stage with some friends and no script in front of 100 people and be able to make them laugh and perform, right? So there's lots of things that go into that, but you can sort of intuitively get how that might be able to help you when you're talking your way out of a parking ticket, or you're doing a presentation at school, or you're trying to do a job interview when you got a panel of 3 people in front of you. It's the same thing, right? So being able to think on your feet, being able to handle the pressure, you expose yourself to the pressure in a safe environment of an improv team building session or a course, and your brain gets used to just in the confidence that, you know, you get a laugh in the improv class over and over and over again. You know, when you're in that interview, that you can make it a little joke and it's probably going to be funny. If they don't laugh, maybe they're just trying to keep their face, but you know that that's maybe a little bit funny, right? So that confidence, that simple little thing over and over and over again allows you to perform in those circumstances, to trust yourself. And that kind of training is just so key in the modern environment, especially with AI flowing in and you know, our digital world. Everybody's going to be able to output perfect digital content pretty soon, right? How do you know what to believe? It's going to be face-to-face oral presentations. I know in some educational settings now, you know, in order to actually advance, you know, they're not going to trust the book reports or the reports that you've handed in. They're going to ask you to
stand in front of class and talk about it.
Yes, defend it, right? So more and more it's going to be pushed toward this oral presentation. Can you defend what you've said? You know, you've got this perfect digital persona. Let's see who you really are, right? Because we need to understand that now, because otherwise we don't trust it.
Sure.
So more and more, this type of training, soft skills, social skills, is going to be so key. And the problem is that when you spend so much time online, they atrophy, right? I mean, and you get socialized in a very odd way. There's just this other experience I had the other day where this young man was talking to his boss. And, you know, they're in the kitchen, and he said to him, you know what, or made this little joke, wow, I haven't seen you clean the kitchen before, to his boss. And I was thinking to myself, maybe not so good to say, man. And why is that? Because he spends too much time online. Sarcasm like that is normal. Everybody laughs, move on. But in real life, no, that doesn't work so well. So being able to understand what those limits are, socializing, it's one of the many, many benefits that pile out of acts or, you know, participating in improv.
I hear all of these benefits, and I agree with them. And as part of my experience and what I've done to walk through this, but I think what a lot of people have confusion with is drawing a line between one and the other. Say, you tell me these things, but you know, what are the actual things that you would do? Like, what are the things that happen in improv that demonstrate this end result, right? Okay. Say, I can stand up and talk. What are you gonna do to me in an improv class that makes it so I can overcome this thing, right?
Yeah.
So what does that look like?
So one example, so there's lots of different games that happen in an improv class. The instructor is key, right? They create the environment. But there's first word, last word, right? Which is a fun game. And it's very simple. So it would be like you say a sentence, and then the next person has to jump off the last word of that sentence to make their own sentence. And the next person has to jump off the last word of that sentence to make another sentence. So you keep going down this road, and maybe you end up talking about snowballs on the moon or something. You go anywhere. Your brain, it's just a matter of staying in the moment, listening, and then just trusting yourself to say something gobbledygook, and then the next person has to do it, and the next person has to do it. So it's those kinds of things in lots of different formats and lots of different fashions that really train you to just sort of be in the moment and to react with confidently in the moment. So there's a myriad of different approaches, and every instructor is different. Every instructor kind of has their own favorites, right? And so at Railway City Improv, we try to encourage our instructors to choose the games that suit them, of course, but are also sort of an amalgam of all the training that they've gotten through, Shut the Front Door. There would be class 101, 102, 103, the master class, and then into a performance troupe. So amalgam all of the things that they've learned into a single class that focuses on helping them listen and learn, build confidence, all those primary benefits that will help them in the real world. And really, it's just fun games. I mean, that's what's so brilliant about it, really, right? Because you get into an improv class, you don't know what's going to happen next, but you know it's going to be fun, right? And the people that, the big burly guy that might intimidate you, or the beautiful woman that might intimidate you, depending on who you are, I mean, it all breaks down. And we're all just human beings, and we're all just sort of reacting and having fun like we're kids. And that is so cathartic. I always think of it as like a defibrillator for the anxious brain. It's like boom, 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 right? It kind of brings you back to being human. And like I don't teach classes. I have instructors, and I've participated in a bunch of classes. And I wish that I'd had this when I was younger, because it took me many decades even to date myself a bit to kind of get to the place where I can come on Rogers TV and just talk passionately without being insecure or self-aware, too self-aware. But, these things are really powerful. And now I'm becoming too self-aware to say, why don't you jump in now, save me. This is improv.
Improv was the last word that came out of your mouth. So I was paying attentively, being attentive with the first word, last word. So the first word out of my mouth was the last word out of yours. A lot of great stuff. The things that they would do in class are life skill building and coping strategies. First word, last word is a practice of listening.
Sure, yeah.
Being attentive. And you also said something about being present.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about that process of being present.
Well, like I said, anxiety is the act of worrying about the future and worrying about the past. And so when you're forced to be present, when you're forced to be in the moment for, say, 2 hours, which is what our regular session is, that is cathartic. That helps you. It's like a lot of us watch movies, right, to sort of step out of the stress of our lives and sort of get pulled into a story where we get taken on a roller coaster and we have fun that way. Improv is that, but it's better because you're social, and we're human beings. We're social animals, and we need those connections. We need to have the reinforcement of other people laughing at our jokes, and we need to be able to show and give to people through kindness, maybe if the joke's bad, right? The ability to laugh and accept other people as well. That makes us feel great. So it's like the escape of a movie, but you're in the moment with the person. You have to be present. You have to listen. You can't participate if you're not listening, and that's the key. Everybody in those situations, we want to participate, right? We want to stand in that circle. We want to be able to say the next word next, or we want to, sing. Based off of what the last person said, or make a joke based off of what the last person said. So you have to be present, and in order to be present, you have to listen, and you have to be able to think on your feet. And as we talk about all these benefits, all this training, anybody that's in a business or corporate environment that's running teams or is trying to build a team and sees problems with team cohesion, I mean, these things ring true, right? I mean, these are problems that you can have a person, a new hire that comes in that's a digital master. But when it gets into, talking to a customer or, working in teams and not being not having people at each other's throats because they're overly sarcastic or something. These things are really key, and that's why it's so powerful for a bottom line, you know, for fighting miscommunication, building efficiencies, building teams. These are really potent skills, and you know, that's part of what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm here today, is to try and tell the business world that this is a tool you can use. I mean, if you ever get a new hire that is great at what they do, but just, you know, they say the most awkward things at the most awkward time, that kind of throws everybody for a loop. You know, this is the kind of thing that you can kind of get them into that can help them sort of understand those limits, socialize them, you know?
Yeah.
I hope that answered the question.
No,
I go off on tangents.
No, it's good. There's, again, wonderful information. I see that we can't learn how to swim by reading a book, right? So you have to immerse yourself into it. So there's more to the idea of participation and practice. And when I talk to individuals about saying, when have you practiced soft skills? And they go, well, I only practice them when I'm in the moment, and I'm in a moment where I'm at work and I'm doing soft skills. I don't practice them anywhere else.
Right.
I don't practice body language or any of those things because I don't have an environment where I can do that. So it's you're either engaged in a relationship and talking to somebody, or you're not, or you're home alone on the internet. So there's no real practice in the middle. And so when I ask people, where did you practice, you know, soft skills or communicating? Like, I don't know, was I supposed to? And it's like, oh, but improv seems to be one of these environments where you can, without consequence, explore the boundaries of communication and explore the soft skills in any extreme way to kind of get a better understanding in your footing.
Yes.
In those skills.
In an intensive way, right? In a 2-hour session that just builds it in fast, right? So if you're looking for an efficient training experience to build those skills, there's nothing like it.
Sure.
You know, I always use the example, you know, when we got Railway City Improv started, it was for teens originally because my own daughters needed help. And I worked with Shut the Front Door on some of our projects, and I knew the guys there. And I heard this interview with a kid on the radio who had horrible anxiety as a child, or as a teenager, and his sister forced him into Second City to go to a Second City improv class. And here he was 4 years later as an instructor, talking about how it changed his life. And I was thinking, well, I know some amazing improv guys in London. And my daughters, I'm worried about them spending too much time online and too much anxiety and having anxiety because of that. And so I got them involved, and it was amazing. And so that was what got me started with Railway City Improv. And I used to always say with the teens, you know, when you and I were growing up, you know, if we were going to Joe's house to go out for the night, right, we would drive in the driveway. We'd jump out of our car, knock on the door. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, is Joe here? Awkward moments, chatting with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right? Oh, yeah, no, school's great, blah, 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 blah. And then Joe would come down, okay, a couple more awkward words, drive away, right? Nowadays, you know, even, 10, 20 years ago, Joe, I'm here, sitting in the driveway.
Yeah.
Parents are watching TV, Joe flies out the door, see you later, Mom and Dad, right? So that was just texting as terms of a technological advancement, right? But think about what you lose in all those cumulative moments, right? That's how our brains form. That's how we build the ability to get through awkward moments, is by having those moments where we have to interact, those awkward moments talking to Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
So you accumulate that day after day, month after month, week after week, and then all the new technological advancements that once again make life easier in terms of taking away the need for those direct social interactions. It's no wonder we are where we are, right? Where we have social skill atrophy, and people are having a hard time in teams, and you have all these things. So what's needed is improv, right? Because this is many decades old training approach that has been honed by some of the greatest, comedians certainly, but improvisers. And it's something that really, really works, and it's really efficient, and it's really powerful. So we need it, but it's underutilized, and that's why I'm out trying to spread the gospel of comedy improv, right?
Yeah. I like that you used the word atrophy earlier. because I think that that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about an underutilized skill and strength that then starts to weaken naturally over time. And then when we're forced to face it, it becomes unbearable, or it becomes, outside of my capacity to manage, because my ability to do it is weakened. And then we can see a trend in society where social soft skills and engagement with people is starting to atrophy and pull back. And I think the stats are that we're at the highest level of anxiety and depression, that we've known in many years. So there's things that people can do to participate in their own strengthening of those social muscles and those coping strategies. I see that there's a bit of a catch-22 here. So we say, you have anxiety, so let's go to an improv class and stand in front of a bunch of people and be silly to overcome the anxiety. And everybody goes,
right?
That doesn't work for me. Tell me, can we spitball some of the ways to overcome, or what that looks like, or how a person integrates into that without feeling like they're going to lose it? Because it's a lot. It's a big thing.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad you brought that up, because that really, in my experience, has been the biggest hurdle trying to get people to consider this, right? Is this idea that, okay, I suffer from anxiety, or my teen suffers from anxiety. So let's get them on stage in front of a bunch of people without a script. Right? There's a huge disconnect, like you just described. And so that is a huge disconnect. And from a marketing perspective, that's been a real challenge. But what we always say is that these classes are closed sessions, right? There's no recording, there's no performance at the end. It's really just about being in that course, that class with your classmates, and going through the experiences together, right? So there's no way to lose, right? I mean, there's no such thing as losing in improv. So you go in, you might feel awkward for the first 5 or 10 minutes, but if you can force yourself to go there, or you can use your parental capital and push your team to get in there, they'll love it. You'll love it, right? Everybody does, right? If you can just get there. And that's really the challenge. So yeah, absolutely. That's been the trickiest little bit. But as people start to understand it, and as they start to recognize that this type of anxiety is really sort of hurting their life goals, right? I mean, their romantic goals, their professional goals, their personal goals. As they start to identify anxiety as the issue, and maybe social skill atrophy, which I love too, because it doesn't blame, right? It just says, this is kind of what's happening. It's like, I take the elevator all the time instead of the stairs. Sure, I could take the stairs and I could have great cardio fitness, but I take the elevator because I got to get to office on time, and I'm usually running late. It's the exact same thing, right? So there's no blame in it. It's just a matter of how our modern lives have evolved. So yeah, it is a challenge, and if people can get themselves there, right, then no one ever regrets it. They never regret it. I mean, I have mothers that, especially that have had their kids in that has absolutely changed their lives. They find their tribe, things like that, where you get to, outside of all the real benefits and practical benefits, it's fun. You have a gas, you make friends. There's really nothing else like it. Normally in life, you find something that's wonderful and beautiful and fun to do. Oh, what's the downside? There's got to be a downside. There's got to be a back end that is bad. I mean, that's generally the rule, right? There isn't one in improv. And that's what makes it so amazing and so brilliant and so underutilized.
Yeah. What I've noticed within the world of the facilitators is I know several of them that do it in London. And there's a multitude of them that are actually mental health professionals and clinicians and counselors and therapists. And it's pretty fascinating because they see how much value it has, and not teaching it as a mental health tool, but just teaching improv in general and the benefits that they see that comes from that and to the other people. One of the things that, and Shut the Front Door included, the instructors within that, when people come in and they're new, there's no real big obligation. You're not expected to stand up on stage and do anything. It's like a slow burn, a little exposure, a little bit here, a little bit there. Let's try that. One of the things that I think is critical about the troop mentality, having a bunch of people together, is as soon as a couple of people have permission to be silly or weird or step outside of the box or be vulnerable, the other people by default get permission because there's a little less shame there. So it's a slow transition. It's not like you walk in and you're like, okay, everybody's doing,
Crazy stuff.
everybody's getting up and doing 8-minute monologues and talking about whatever and standing on your head
Yeah, that's a
juggling
great point.
chainsaws. Yeah, it's a you do it at your pace and you do it at whatever. And what I've seen over the years has just been absolutely, I've been almost a decade at it, and the people and the transformations. The only regrets I've ever seen is people participating in it and they have some regrets or worries about facing the anxiety in the first place. But the end result is normally very positive and self-affirming and empowering.
Yeah.
Would be the way to say it.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see. I mean, that's why I love the business, really, right? I mean, you do see transformations and you do hear about transformations for people. And these are transformations that aren't about the stage. They aren't about a YouTube channel, right? They're just transformations about being able to communicate better at home with their kids, with their wife or husband, at work, being able to cope better at work with a harsh boss. These are just real life, real world practical skills that are made better just because they have the confidence in themselves to sort of be able to say, you know what, I've been in an improv class and I know that I'm, I should be accepted in whatever world I'm in, right? That I'm a person, a human being that is valued. And so wherever I go, if I'm talking to a boss that's trying to make me feel like crap, F them, right? I mean, I know now, right? And that's the real power of it, right? Giving you that confidence. So many real powers, superpowers in a lot of ways.
Yeah. The self-esteem that comes from being able to know that you can pivot on the moment is pretty powerful. Being able to process and participate in things a little more with a little more clarity and a little less regret after.
And that's a good point too, right? Because like we said, it's a safe place to fail. Right. And every success is an accumulation of failures. So if you get comfortable failing, you're more likely to succeed. Right. And in a business environment, that's so true as well, right? You want a team of people that are willing to spitball ideas, that aren't going to, pretend like at each other's throats necessarily or playing little games. You want people that are comfortable and trust each other and are willing to sort of innovate, and build, and their way through different challenges that come through in all kinds and different types of businesses. That's what makes it so potent, right? I mean, what business out there doesn't require, good human-to-human interaction at all times? All businesses.
Right.
What relationship doesn't require good communication and listening? All relationships, right? I mean, that's what's so amazing. It's a tool that is considered a niche sort of for the stage, for the theater. It's been there for decades. Everybody you talk to, like like you said, people with a therapeutic background, they'll tell you improv's great, right? It's known. You talk to people that are in sales, they'll say, oh, improv's great. Changed my sales skills, changed my ability to sell. It's kind of a hidden thing. Why? I don't know, but it's kind of a hidden thing. And maybe because it's, because it's so niche. Maybe because it's so, has been thought of in this quadrant and has never been thought of where all the practical.
So it's great stuff, Bryan. I really appreciate all of that information. We're hearing that there's communication and coping and self-esteem, the business, personal, mental health, all these great things about improv. Thank you for being on the show today. I'm looking forward to watching this back again and pulling some more information out of it. Thanks for being here.
Super cool.
Thank you for watching Stirring Strength, and we'll see you next time.